Und auch zur dritten Pressekonferenz des Tages strömten heute die Journalisten in hellen Scharen, was natürlich vor allem an der glanzvollen Besetzung lag des Films Notes of a Scandal, der außerhalb der Konkurrenz hier zu sehen war. Eine amerikanisch-britische Produktion, ein Psychothriller. Das ist gleichzeitig das Psychogramm zweier sehr unterschiedlicher Frauen, die sich ein heftiges Duell liefern. Und darum geht es, um Abhängigkeiten, um Zuneigung, um Erpressung, aber vielleicht auch um wahre Liebe. In den Hauptrollen die großartigen Darstellerinnen Cate Blanchett und Judi Dench, beide sehr zu Recht für einen Oscar nominiert.
Dankeschön, meine Damen und Herren. Können Sie bitte Platz nehmen? Thank you very much. Please sit down so we can start the press conference. Dankeschön. Thank you very much. Dankeschön. To you, please sit down. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a welcome screening out of competition, nominated for 4 Oscars. Here in Berlin's 57th International Film Festival, Notes on a Scandal, and have a welcome for the producer, Robert Fox. Playing the part of Barbara, have a great welcome for Dame Judi Dench.
The only 2 words I know, Dankeschön.
Also have a welcome playing the part of Stephen, Andrew Simpson. For a second time this year in Berlin, playing the part of Sheba, have a welcome for Cate Blanchett. And the man who brought us this wonderful script, Patrick Marber. Very good. I guess before we start the questioning, there is something the producer, Robert Fox, has to tell us from the director.
Richard Eyre can't be here today, but he's asked me just to say something briefly, which is I am opening a play at the National Theatre, and I'm therefore not able to come to Berlin for the screening of Notes on a Scandal. I'm very sad not to be there, not least because Berlin is one of my favorite cities. So that's a message from Richard.
There's a question on the left side, please.
Yes, hi. Susan Hannaford, People Magazine. I have 2 questions. The first one is a lighter one for Ms. Dench, having to do with the Oscars. There's an old show business and theatrical tradition of good luck superstitions, wishing someone to break a leg, no hats on the bed, etc. My question is, do you plan on carrying any lucky charm, or is there any special ritual that you might do for Oscar Day luck? And my second question to Ms. Dench and Ms. Blanchett. There's a modern phenomena of stalking and obsession with personalities. Have you had any personal experience with obsessed people or fans that you drew on for your performances in this film?
I'm obsessed with Judi. I've been stalking her for years.
Will you go first?
No, you go first. The first question is to you.
The thing about the Oscars, it's just that this year it's strange that you say to break a leg. In fact, I can't go to the Oscars because I've got to have a knee operation, so break a leg for me is actually quite apt. I'm going to have it broken and put back together again and be much taller. So I'm absolutely going to be fine. But I shall watch and cheer from my bed. So, but I am very superstitious. I'm mostly in the theatre, and I have a ritual that I don't know whether Cate is the same, but that I start doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time every night. Because if I don't do that, I kind of feel that that's not quite right. So I get a routine, and I stick to that routine rigorously and do the same thing. So I suppose that's a superstition. I don't know.
Or OCD.
So please, just one question for each, because we have a lot of questioning. There's a question in the back, right?
Peter Paul Huth, German television, ZDF 3-set. The question to Ms. Blanchett and Ms. Dench. I was quite intrigued by this, the portrayal of this family and this marriage. And first it seems like a situation of peaceful coexistence, and then there comes a violent eruption. Could you, like you being the character in the family, and you, Ms. Dench, being the character outside the family. Give us your impression of what kind of family this is.
I think part of Sheba's tragedy is that externally her life seems incredibly fortunate and her existence is incredibly blissfully happy. She's married to Bill Nighy, which, is pretty, very wonderful, and has 2 children and comes from a very privileged background. And I think that in this day and age, to be a mother and a wife is not considered enough by the world. And so I think she's always felt less than. And a lot of people in marriages, I imagine, are incredibly isolated. And Sheba's not somebody who has a very peopled environment where she can discuss intimate problems with. So whilst she's not as immediately, obviously lonely and isolated as Barbara Covett, I think the film reveals that in fact she is. And I think that's part of that loneliness is what brings the women together.
Yes, I think Barbara's tragedy is that she doesn't have a family, she doesn't have anybody. And her craving for some kind of attention or someone to lavish some kind of affection on is what actually is her downfall.
Your question, please.
Okay. This is Judith George of the German newspaper Weltexpress. I've got a question for Judi Dench and Cate Blanchett. And you're both playing very controversial characters full of negative traits. And what was it exactly that convinced you to take this part, and how did you get prepared, and did you enjoy playing such unconventional roles?
I'd read the book. Richard Eyre asked me to do it, and I then knew that it was with Cate. And although Cate and I had been in a film together, The Shipping News, I think we only met to say hello, but we didn't meet to actually do anything. So it was for me an irresistible project to do, and also a part to really try and get your teeth into and understand. So that for me was a fait accompli.
And for me, I'd read the novel, and I was at Patrick's house visiting his wife Deborah and saw the book lying around, and I said, "Oh, are you reading this?" And Patrick said, "I'm writing the screenplay and there might be a part for you." So I immediately rang my agent, and then I said, "I hope Judi Dench should do this," and then she did, and so it sort of very organically and quite quickly came together.
So maybe, Andrew, you can tell us about your first thoughts. You've been called during a tour on a rugby team. You've never been to London, and then working with these 2 ladies. What was your first impression?
Well, I was scared, I think, because these women are at the top of their craft, and for one of my first roles to do this was unbelievable. But sort of from the very first day, and I came into the room, everyone just sort of welcomed me into the gang, sort of, and that helped a lot, and just everyone was really friendly, and it was like a big family. And by the end of it, it wasn't Cate Blanchett and Judi Dench, the best actresses around. It was just Cate and Judi, good friends.
Your question, please.
Yes, this is Barbara von der Lühe, free journalist. First of all, congratulations to Judi Dench and Cate Blanchett for this marvelous, I should say, creation in this movie. And I want to know what is, from your point of view, the message or the moral of this movie?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
The message or the moral of this movie?
I don't know that there is a moral to it, or even a message. I think all it ever becomes when you play a part is trying to, we're none of us black and none of us white. We're all shades of grey in between. And it's just trying to find a person who an audience can believe would act in that way, and hopefully show everybody just why they're like that, Her behaviour is reprehensible, but she simply doesn't come out of a kind of reprehensible box and behave that way. There is a passage, there is a journey to that behaviour, And that's what you hope to do with any part you play, I think. And I don't know what the moral or the message is. Perhaps look out for people who are extremely lonely. Don't ask them round to tea, I'd say.
Hello. This is Sand from Iran. I would like to know from Mr. Marber how you think it was able to give all the characters just a part, which are not a part, to make the parts of them more sympathetic to us, because they have such great problems.
Well, as Judi says, the characters in this story are complicated and contradictory, and I knew I was writing it, well, I was hoping that Judi and Cate would do it, so I knew that I had two brilliant actresses to write for, and I suppose I made the characters as difficult and as strange and as complicated as we all are, and trusted that the actors would be able to make them seem human and sympathetic. And the people I sympathise with in films are not necessarily the nicest people, but the people who are dealing with their own problems and complexities and make me feel that I'm not alone.
Your question, please. Yes.
Hi, this is Lily from Budapest, Hungary, and my question goes to Mr. Marber about the script again. In the beginning, we see the story through the eyes of Barbara, and then there's a certain point that it all changes. What is the concept behind that?
Well, the novel is all told from Barbara's point of view, but I wanted to be able to explore the character of Sheba in more depth. So I didn't want Sheba to only be perceived from Barbara's point of view. So at a certain point in the story, I decided to abandon Barbara's point of view and shift the film into Sheba's point of view. And this occurs in that long sequence where Sheba tells Barbara how the affair began. And I think after that point in the story, the film is told from the point of view of both Barbara and Sheba. So that it was just a very simple shape I gave to the narrative structure that would allow us to see Sheba in the same way that Barbara does, as someone who she wants to get to know, and just when she thinks she's got to know her, we, the audience, realise, oh, there's more to Sheba than meets the eye, and now we want to learn more about Sheba. So that was all.
Your question here?
I'm Olga Galperoj from Minsk, Belarus, Radio Culture, and I would like speak in German.
So you need the headphones. You speak German?
I can't even manage an ironing board.
Meine Frage sind zu Cate Blanchett.
My question is for Cate Blanchett and Judi Dench and Patrick Marbert. Now, do you think all of the different possibilities are okay in order to get love, to pursue love? Are all the different avenues pursued by these characters all right? Should I repeat, or...?
I've got terrible English, sorry.
Would you say it again?
Could you say it again?
Okay. She asked whether the different avenues pursued by the different characters are okay in order to get love, in order to be loved. Each character has their own way of doing it. And do you feel that all of these avenues that they chose are okay?
It's BBC World News. Is it all right to the way in which the characters
pursue love any way you want to?
Yes.
No, I don't think Barbara Covett pursues love too well, I must say. As I said before, I wouldn't want her around, I must say. I think she behaves appallingly. She in fact blackmails her. That's not how she blackmails Sheba into a friendship. That's reprehensible, I think. But that's her way. That's how she the only way she understood about how to do it. It's not how any of us, perhaps, well, I hope not none of us probably, but that was the story.
But it's also, I suppose, what your definition of love actually is. I mean, I think a lot of people who say that they're in love, it perhaps says more about them than it does their object of love. And for Sheba, I think she's, if she hadn't chosen to embark upon a relationship with a student, which is disastrous and diabolical, then she would have found some other way to self-destruct. And I think for me, it was the self-destruction rather than Sheba's definition of love that was sort of the most, I suppose, the key into her character.
And it seems to me that at the heart of the story and of the characters of Barbara and Sheba, they are both innocent in their way, which may sound a strange thing to say, but Barbara is innocent in that she's never truly loved. She's never had a relationship. She's on some level an emotional virgin, and she doesn't know how to be when she's in love. And it's the same for Sheba in a completely different way, that she is an innocent in that she gets into this situation that she knows could be her downfall and yet feels powerless to stop herself. So I think that neither of these two women behave well in the moral scheme of things, but both of them are innocent in their love.
I mean, they're quite adolescent. I mean, if you look at Barbara's diary, it's got the gold stars and the clippings, and if you think, about Sheba Hart herself having been a student when she married her own professor, then there's something that's sort of atrophied in her. They're both quite adolescent. In the moment when Barbara strokes Sheba's arm, I mean, I kept perceiving of both of them being still in the dormitory at boarding school in so many ways emotionally. So,
your question, please.
This is Carol Guerrero from W Radio, Colombia. My question is for here. My question is for Miss Judi Dench and Miss Cate Blanchett. Watching this film, I felt like a deep relationship between Barbara and Sheba. So I would like to know, how did you work on it? Because it was so real. So how?
We had 2 weeks.
We had 2 weeks rehearsal, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we had Richard Eyre to show us the way. If in doubt, ask Richard, or Patrick, or Robert, or even Andrew. Oh, even Andrew, how rude. But, you just have to... I'm sure there could have been 100 different ways of playing scenes between us. But you just... That's what's so irritating about seeing yourself on film. You think, why on earth is that the one I chose? Why is that the button I pressed at that time? My bathroom has seen the best performances I've ever given. But it's too late, of course, then. But, you just choose. It's the option that we all choose, and you hope that you're telling the story. All we're doing is trying to tell the story.
I mean, and some scripts you have to, reinvent and sort of talk around, whereas this was such a solid piece that it was mostly like working on a theatre text in the sense that one says, why does my character say this? Not how can I change this line to make it work? It was a very strong architectural frame, and so it was very much about rising to the text, I think.
Okay, your question, please.
This is Alison from the UK. This is a question for Dame Judi. Richard Eyre said one of the pleasures in casting you was because it was such an unexpected role for you, because Barbara is really not a nice person. I wondered whether you enjoyed having the opportunity to explore this darker side of a person's personality. And do you look for more opportunities to be able to do that? Do you feel you've not had a chance to go as dark as you wanted in past roles?
Well, I wouldn't say Lady Macbeth was a frightfully nice person. I played her a long time ago. I mean, there are a lot of parts I played that are deeply unpleasant. What I look for is that the next thing I do is completely different to the last thing I do, so that you try to kind of widen, it's like CinemaScope. You try and widen your vision on something. You try and broaden your view on something. And so, when you get a wonderful part like this, it's irresistible to do it. It's a cracking good story, and it's a wonderful part to have to find out about. So, as I say, the next time I would like to do a film about a circus performer, maybe. Who knows? Or, something you have to learn about, something that is a challenge each time, which is wonderful. I mean, yes, that's it.
Yes, your question, please.
Hi, I'm Vizi Chung from Hong Kong Cable TV, right here. Hi. So this question goes to Judi. So you're known for playing a dignified, strong-willed woman, like in a society. Probably people around you, they criticize you sometimes. So what kind of challenges, like the one in this movie, so what kind of challenges are you looking for in your acting career? Thank you.
Is that to me?
I think it was to you.
Yeah, it's to you.
What changes? Did you? Oh, challenges.
Yes.
Well, just the fact of something, that very often when you've played a part like this, I'll get a lot more scripts sent, which are very, very similar to this woman, Barbara Covett. And that, in fact, if you have a choice, and you're lucky enough to have a choice, is the last thing you want to do. You want to do something now which is as far away from her as possible. And then after that, hopefully, something else, So it's always a challenge, always in the theatre, if I've thought, oh, this is a part, I think I know, oh, yes, I think I know how this will be played, and I think this is a possibility. That's the moment when, I've always said that the man round the corner with the huge bucket of ice-cold water comes and actually dashes it in your face, and you find that you don't know how to play it. So every single thing I've ever done presents a challenge. I've never found it easy. But that perhaps is why it's so exciting.
Your question on the left, please.
Hello, my name is Eric from Reuters. The 4 Academy Award nominations you got is quite a good haul. What do you think attracted the film so much to them? And a friend of mine wants to bet on your Oscar chances, Cate and Judi, and I'm just wondering, should I discourage him or encourage him to bet on your Oscar chances?
Go on, Cate.
You're the one with the gambling problem, Judi, so what do you think?
I wouldn't put money on me. That's all I'm saying. Don't put money on me.
Nor on me.
It.
Perhaps on Patrick.
Yes. Put money on Helen.
Yes. Me.
Yes. Okay. Your question, please.
Yes, Andrew Gibbons from United Media International. To Robert Fox, the music was fascinating, and I thought it was a great element to this film. How did you go about choosing the composer, Philip Glass, for this film? And is this the first major theatrical film that Philip Glass has composed music for?
No, it's very much not the first film that he's composed music for. In fact, I was involved with my producing partner on Notes on a Scandal, Scott Rudin, on a film called The Hours, for which Philip Glass also wrote the music, and he's written the music for many other movies. He's worked with Scott many times, and Scott believes, and I think he's right, that music is an unbelievably important part of film's existence. And in a way, the music in this film, I feel, is like a character within the film, and it's a vital part of the storytelling, in my view. And we were lucky enough that Philip wanted to do it, and loved the film when he first saw it, loved the performances, and was very happy to say that he wanted to work on it, and in fact wrote the score, I think, 3 times, different scores, until we came up with the one that we finally have.
There's a question on the right, on the back.
This is for Andrew Simpson. 2 questions, actually. How old are you, and what do your parents think of the role you played with Cate?
I'm 18 now. I just turned 18, and my dad would be probably a bit happier with the role than my mum, but it's no, but they've been great, I suppose, with such an amazing cast and everyone attached. They wouldn't let me turn it down anyway, but it's sort of something your mother doesn't want to think of that side of their teenage son. So next time I'm going to have to do something different.
Question in the back on the left.
Hello, Johannes Fabri, ZDF Television. Congratulations, first of all. It's a stunning piece of work. Now, I'd like to ask Ms. Dench and Ms. Blanchett. The film clearly deals with a very controversial subject and a very difficult one as well. Now, I'd like to ask you to, how do you think society and teachers and students, maybe in particular, will benefit from your film?
There'll be frosted glass in
Absolutely
bathrooms of England, I think. I mean, it's not. I mean, film I never perceive as being an educational medium. At first and foremost, it's it should be entertaining, yes.
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to
Might make
that.
one or two predatory teachers think again, I think. Someone seeing it might think, no, I won't actually pursue this itch that I have. It might be a warning to some people, I would say.
Yeah. Your question, please. Could you please stand up?
Yeah. Hi, Kirsty Hinton, CNN. I want to ask Patrick, I've read the novel, and I want to know why you changed the end in the film.
Oh, well, we shot the original ending of the novel, or an approximation of it. And myself, Richard Eyre, Robert Fox and Scott Rudin, we all sat around and looked at it, and we felt that the film felt rather inconclusive with the novel as per the ending, with the film ending as per the novel. And we all felt we wanted to know what happened to Sheba. And we wanted to know what happened to Barbara sometime in the future. And one never knows whether one got it right to change an ending. And of course, it's a dangerous thing to do as an adapter. But I have to say, I did also change the beginning and the middle. But people of course, are always fixated on the ending because they think it's the important thing. It's the